So what should the Dallas Mavericks do with the number 1 overall pick?
I went back and forth the last couple times with this, since yesterday. Originally, I said if they can get a Giannis and some other stuff with it, it might make sense. But then I started thinking about the age difference and the replacement value, right? So if you get Cooper Flagg, you essentially could sell that hope of here's our new Luka. He just happens to be an American Luka. That's kind of what I'm selling that. If I'm Nico, I'm really, really selling it.
What's an American Luka?
Well, white dude that got the perimeter offensive game that can do some stuff. That's what, so we could sell that in Texas and Dallas. We could sell it. And Nico should feel extremely good right now about the situation. He should just feel good about it. Unless you can get a guy like Giannis, but Giannis is only going to give you another 5 to 6 years of a Giannis, where now you got Cooper might give you, 13 years. So it's all about what do you think the value is for that number 1 overall pick?
What do you think, Paul?
Man, I struggle with this right now because think about this. When they traded Luka to the Lakers to get Anthony Davis, they were still in a win-now mode.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But if you add him.
So if you're in a win-now mode, it may be best to trade the pick if you can cop somebody like Giannis. Because that shows me like, you looked at this trade and say, maybe the window with Kyrie and he get healthy. Well, what we got, the window was four years maybe?
I'd call it 5.
Let's call it a presidential term.
Yeah, 4.
4 years is a good window. You get Giannis in a win-now mode. Well, like, if you're picking Cooper Flagg, you got like, okay, he's going to be a good player, but this might take some time, 3 or 4 years.
Remember, though, he cooked the Olympic team in the little scrimmage deal.
Yeah, but is he ready to be the guy? Who's the guy for Dallas?
It would be Anthony Davis.
But if you add Giannis with Anthony Davis, and now you say, Davis, you didn't want to be the guy with LeBron. So we're going to slot you in that number 2 slot where you're comfortable with, and we're going to put Giannis as our go-to. With Kyrie out there, that makes the most sense when I really look at the big picture. But at the same time, Nico's been through a lot. With the fan base and the media.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can take any more scrutiny.
If he moved that pick and it don't work out,
oh my goodness, I wouldn't want to be him. Just saying. So I think of it like now and later. I'm Nico though. Now we're gonna stay pick.
Is he Joy?
Stay put with the pick.
Joy, is he up against? Is he up against Luka and the Lakers of who's going to get to a championship first? That should be his thought process, right? Who's going to get to the championship first? If I stick with him, that I draft you number 1 overall, am I going to beat Luka to the championship?
No, you're not. You're not. Look at the number 1 overall picks just from the last 10 years.
But this dude just seemed different, though. He do.
Don't all the number 1 overall picks seem different?
Not really.
You think Cooper Flagg is ready to come in right now and take a team to a championship in the next 4 years?
But he's not by himself, though. That's the thing.
No, this is definitely a different, unique situation.
Yeah.
This is equivalent to like when Magic and Bird came in.
When you start thinking about the number 1 overall picks and you got guys in there like DeAndre Ayton, that's going to screw you up a little bit with that. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't supposed to be the number 1 overall pick. There's other guys that probably could have gone before him.
No other number 1 pick is coming into a situation where you have a bona fide all-star MVP candidate.
Hall of Famer,
and another bona fide all-star. Yeah. No number 1 pick.
And you still got them young dudes that they traded for a year ago. Mm-hmm. That's the, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. He got a lot to think about.
I think that they're going to draft Cooper Flagg. I think I agree with you. I don't think you can risk trading it and bringing in Giannis and God forbid something happens.
And that Giannis thing, that's a good meal for him if he just.
I mean, it's tempting for sure. Now, if everything hadn't gone as poorly as it did with the Luka trade publicly, I think they might consider going for Giannis, because I think if you bring Giannis into the situation right now, where you are a league MVP, you're a champion, and you put him into what they have going on in Dallas, that's a different conversation.
So you think do you think they'll be pushed back and mad at him for bringing in a two-time MVP, NBA champion with about, I don't know, man, the NBA guys play long, but another 6 years of what we see right now.
It's like, are you going for that, or are you going for hope? What sells?
But you're gonna have both, though. I can sell you hope with Giannis. I can literally sell you hope with Giannis. I can still sell you hope with Giannis.
I mean, I would go for Giannis. I would.
Yeah.
Because when I'm looking at and I understand the longevity, but you're looking back, like you got Karl Anthony Towns, #1 overall pick. You've got Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, DeAndre Ayton, Zion Williamson. Now we got Anthony Edwards, okay?
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero.
Okay, those are all good
Wemby.
ones. Those are all
Yeah,
good
but
ones.
none of them are playing for a championship.
Well,
Except for and Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns is not the #1 on his team.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Nor is he playing for the team that drafted him.
but them dudes that you started naming at the back end right there, pretty damn good.
Are you going for pretty damn good, or are you trying to win a championship?
But I'm putting them with a guy like Paul was saying, and possibly with a guy in Kyrie once he comes back off his injury.
I'm saying what I personally would do. I'm going for the two-time league MVP and a guy who's won a championship.
That's probably what I would do too.
That's what I'm going to do.
That's probably what I would do. I'll stick with
What they're going to do is draft Cooper Flagg. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, it makes more sense as far as when you look at the timeline, when you look at the age of Anthony Davis, when you look at the age of Kyrie.
Right.
They can't wait for Cooper Flagg. If we're saying
exactly,
we're trying to compete for a
when
championship.
Cooper Flagg is ready to compete for a championship,
they're going to be
gone.
But what, okay, so what will get Nico's seat from burning hot? What will do that?
Drafting Cooper Flagg is the safe bet.
See, but I don't think that. I think trading for Giannis will get people off his back, because that I can sell hope we're going to get a championship. I can put him on Anthony Davis. We get Kyrie back. We got Lively. I could where everybody's big across the board.
You have more longevity.
But I don't care. I need to win right now. I need to win right now.
Like Nico, I'm like, listen, I know I ain't going to have this job for the next 10 years.
I need to win right now.
I need to get it right now.
People want to throw rocks at my window. I need to win right now.
He's having a good day today. He's having the best day of anyone on the planet today.
It's like 50-50 because I know Jimmy is getting up there in age, and and he's at a new team midway throughout, and I've seen flashes here and there. He has yet to be really consistently playoff Jimmy throughout these playoffs. We see it here and there, and then there's times where he takes a back seat. We've seen Kuminga explode. We've seen Steph explode before he went down with the injury. But I did expect a little bit more in this last game, being that this was a game that was going to, be like a do or die situation. I just didn't see the aggression that I needed from a guy like Jimmy Butler to, help his team, to elevate his team like we've saw in the past, because we've been used to seeing that in his Miami days. But there's just not enough out there for him. I mean, you got Kuminga, since he's been playing, being your second best player, and the weapons are different that he had in Miami than he has here in Golden State, minus Steph. He had Bam Adebayo, who was an all-star. You had Tyler Hero, who was pretty good. Kyle Lowry. And so with this supporting cast, it doesn't help him. It's like and what I mean by nobody's drawing any attention away from Jimmy. So that's why probably the lack of shots or the inability to get to the paint and finish without, the help being smothered. And so it's just an uphill climb for Jimmy at this point, being down 3-1 in a difficult situation. But I do expect them to have a bounce-back game in Game 5, because he knows that if he doesn't, they'll be going home.
I'm like Paul, I'm 50-50 on this situation. I'm not down on him. I'm just not understanding why the lack of shooting. I mean, I look at last night's game. We talked about the game before that Draymond needed to give him a little bit more help. Draymond gave him a little more help. He scored 14 points. He was a little more, for Draymond, he was aggressive for Draymond offensively. And I just didn't understand, and I know what Paul is saying, when they are crowding him or collapsing on him, but even before they were crowding him or collapsing on him, he's right underneath the rim. He's right there. Like, shoot the damn ball. But he was passing it out or get to his spot and wouldn't pull up at the elbow, would just kick back out. And I don't know, I'm like, well, I'm sitting there watching the game, Joy and Paul, and I'm trying to, in my mind, understand why is he playing this way? What's the reason? When you know that you're now Batman because the original Batman is sidelined and you're now Batman taking the place of him, but you're not being aggressive like you were, let's say, in game one, like you were in the first series against Houston. Like you just, I don't have an answer for why he wasn't shooting the basketball.
But I'm not going to put this on Jimmy. He's been there 3 months. He's had his playoff moments. And you mentioned game 3 at 33 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. They just squandered him and Kuminga's big game because Draymond only had 2 points in that game. Like, that was the game that you should have won. Right. That was playoff Jimmy. But there's not really, this hasn't been his team. In Miami, he was the guy. Right. So he's come here. He's only been there a few months. We know it takes time to adjust to a new system. We're expecting this to just roll over because we've seen the performances that he's had in Miami. But Miami was a different dynamic. Mm-hmm. He was always the guy.
But why did he do it the game before?
Well, I think he has the capability of doing it, but when you're talking about consistency, I think that can play a part. And then the dynamic of switching from it being all about Steph to being all about you, and then there's a lot going on here. So I can't just put it on Jimmy. I mean, it's disappointing, obviously, because you lost Steph. It looked like this was going to be a really long series and a really more competitive series, and now they're in a 3-1 hole. But we'll see if they can extend it to a longer series. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.